Welcome back to another episode of All Things Everything presented by Gulf Coast Smoke. My name is Alonzo.
And I'm Sabrina.
And this is episode 47. So we took a week off last week. How are you doing? How's everything been?
I'm good. I've just been busy putting up Christmas decorations,
Nice.
getting the house cleaned up, ready for a tree, which nobody's selling yet.
I know. We've been calling people like, hey, are you guys selling live trees yet? And they're like, no, not yet. It's weird because it seems like they want to be, but they're not. Like something's, I don't know.
Maybe though, I will say it's been a lot hotter.
Yeah, than normal.
This fall than normal. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but also, I mean, I understand that a lot of people like to wait till after or like right the day after Thanksgiving and stuff, but we've gotten our trees before then, like several times.
Well, yeah, I mean, so the past couple of years, I believe we've done it on your birthday.
Right.
Which happy belated birthday to Sabrina, by the way. It was on the 17th, so happy belated birthday. But yeah, I mean, it's weird because we had been getting trees on your birthday, like your birthday night. That was like part of your present. We weren't able to do that this year because they just don't have them. We called them on your birthday and we were calling everybody and they're like, no, don't have them yet. And I'm like, man, that's crazy.
And they're all giving about like the same date.
Estimate. Yeah.
Right. So I wonder if they're sourced from like the same place.
I mean, they probably got to be from the same area. Right. Christmas trees are going to be from a general area. So it's probably something to do with supply chain. I don't know. Right. But either way, yeah, you've been busy doing decorations at the house. I mean, you've been busy shipping orders and doing stuff like that, editing videos. I will say this. And this is a really good problem to have, but you guys are like killing us when it's coming to Trifecta. We are having the hardest time keeping this in stock. And when I tell you that we're literally placing orders like every week or every other week for more Trifecta, and we still can't keep it in stock, like you guys are killing it, and you guys are really enjoying that blend. And I just want to say thank you guys for continuing to order because it has been wild. It's almost been like, I can't believe we created a product that is got this amount of hype around it right now. And I mean, we just got to keep pushing. We got to keep applying pressure, and we got to let everybody know that Trifecta is the real deal. There's just so much good about it. Just yesterday or a couple of days ago, like I was just eating it out of my hand, right? I was just eating it out of the bottle, just pouring it on my hand and just eating it. And I'm like, dude, this blend is truly, truly, truly so delicious. If you guys have not tried Trifecta, use code podcast. We'll know you came from this podcast or any podcast, but use code podcast for a discount on our website, gulfcoastsmoke.com. And man, it's just...
Which it is out of stock right now, so use it when it's back in stock.
Well, it's out of stock as the time that we're doing this. It's not necessarily out of stock right now if you're listening like on Friday or Saturday. But that's the other problem is we'll talk about it briefly because we've already talked about it before multiple times. But this Saturday is our turkey breast demo.
Yeah.
And, of course, we were going to really have lots of Trifecta here and push Trifecta. And now we're like, well, what do we do now? So we're really hoping that somehow, some way, we get Trifecta in stock within literally the next 2 days. Otherwise, on Saturday...
Hopefully right now when you're listening, we're getting it,
like,
right?
yeah, hopefully right now they call it, or they already called us. And they're like, yeah, you got your orders in stock. I'll be like, oh my gosh, thank you. And we'll go get it and we'll be ready for Saturday. But if not, we have plans. I mean, we can use Southern Belle. We can use Southern Hospitality. We can use Hospitality. We can use anything on these turkey breasts that are coming. Yeah, but they're still going to be delicious.
I mean, we put out that video, 2 weeks back now for the smoked turkey?
The one where we injected?
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's another reason why, so again, we even got a comment on a video today that was literally like along the lines of, hold on, let me pull it up. He basically said, like, I can't believe that there's this much hype around this product. Like, congratulations to you. It says it right here. Man, I think it's so crazy how you've changed the game with Trifecta. Everybody's using it. Big congrats, brother. It's got to be a better feeling than winning any comp. And it is, and it isn't, because it's a different feeling. That feeling of it, like I said, keep applying pressure. It definitely feels like pressure. right? Because like our next product better be on point. Because Trifecta, everything that we've done, in my opinion, has just gotten better and better. Well, better and better I don't know how to explain what I'm saying. But like we've always continuously tried to push good products. We've tried to take no shortcuts, and we've tried to just really give you guys something that you would like. Trifecta seems to be hitting those marks, and man, again, I couldn't thank you guys enough. Like, this is, I don't know, it's wild. It's wild because it definitely feels like a lot of people are using this product. There's a lot of hype around it, and it's going well.
Well, yeah, I mean, as I said, we put out that video a couple weeks back already, and after that, I mean, we actually typically do have this issue, but we have people who aren't just buying one bottle. They're buying 2 bottles, 3 bottles, 4 bottles at a time.
There were some people buying 6 bottles at a time.
Yeah, I came in to, fulfill our orders, package things up, and I was going through like 2 cases of Trifecta at a time trying to fulfill these orders,
yeah.
So it is really flying off the shelf, so to speak. I mean, shoot, if you go look at our shelf right now,
there's literally everything else is stocked up but Trifecta.
Yeah, so
and the other sales are doing good too.
Oh yeah,
everything else is doing fine. It's just Trifecta's like people again. So basically, what people are doing is they will buy like one of each, but they're buying multiple Trifectas.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's crazy. It's humbling, and again, we're gonna keep applying pressure. So we appreciate you guys for keeping Trifecta moving, and for continuing to use it on the competition scene, because we've had a lot of people recently that have had a lot of success with Trifecta, and it's just been so cool to see. Well,
I think that's why it seems to be flying off the shelves, is because backyard barbecue and competition are 2 different, what's the word I'm looking for? It's 2 different markets for competition and backyard barbecue, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes the same barbecue products that cater to backyard cooks aren't going to be the same for competition, right? So I think with Trifecta, we have a product that is really catering to our competition cooks, but also backyard cooks are really getting into it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, so it's funny. So that video that we put out, I guess yesterday, or if you guys haven't seen it, it's on Tuesday. It's a rib video where we cooked some backyard ribs, and we took like one small little snippet of something that we would do in competition. And there was even a comment, and the guy was like, "Man, I love how your backyard ribs are exactly like your comp ribs." And I'm like, you don't got no idea, because they're nowhere even near the same. Right. And I'm not trying to be rude when I say that, but I mean, I genuinely mean it. Those ribs are night and day different from anything we would do in comp. Right. I mean, just down to the sauce, just like everything, just no injecting. We don't take it nearly as far. We don't finish it with dunking and powders and everything. Like, there's so much more.
Yeah, you're missing about like 14, 15 steps there.
Yeah, there's a lot. So for us to put out that video, it is to show you that backyard Trifecta can be absolutely killer. And we made those ribs, and even when you were going back and editing and we were talking, you're like, dude, these ribs look so good on camera. And They did. They really did. When I watched that video, I felt like, okay, this is a great video. It's got great content. Everything looks really good. And that's the thing with Trifecta, is that you 100% can still get these great results in your backyard. It doesn't have to just be competition. That's why in the video I was like, you are going to be a backyard legend, hero, gladiator, whatever you want to say, because these ribs are killer. And Trifecta, and we did use Malcolm's TX, man, it just really shines through, and it makes for such a good bite of ribs.
Yeah, so let's go into that recipe.
Yeah.
So what happened is last weekend, right? That's when we did this. So last weekend we were supposed to go out and do a competition. So we had all of our meats trimmed. We had a brisket trimmed. We had 3 racks of ribs trimmed, pork trimmed, munies and muscles, or munies and the pork butt.
Yep.
We had chickens trimmed and everything, right? So we were ready to go, and, things happened and we weren't able to make it. So at that point, it's like, okay, well, now we have 4 different meats to choose from to make a video out of. It's been a while since we did ribs. Let's do these ribs.
Yeah.
Now, these were some really, really marbled ribs. They looked really, really good, nice and thick. So for backyard people, definitely when you're going to pick out your ribs, even if it's for the backyard, try and find the most marbled ones you can.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the thing that people miss also with ribs is you want them marbled. So marbling, what it is it's the fat striations within the actual meat itself, right? So you see the meat, and then you see fat striations in the meat, almost like veins or something
like
that.
White lines,
yeah, little white lines, and that shows you there's a lot of fat running through those ribs. And when you render that fat out, basically when you melt it, it just gives you such a tender and moist bite. And then the other thing that I think people miss is the thickness of the ribs.
Right.
I mean, I am looking for ribs that are literally 4.5 pounds and up. Like, I want 5-pound ribs if I can. So where the cartilage is and like where those riblets are up top, don't feel that part of the ribs for thickness. Feel closer to the bone. Like, if you can squeeze down and touch the bone with ease, they're too thin. Get something where you got to like press down. You got to go through some meat to get to those bones. 4.5 pounds and up is what I'm looking for all day, every single day. For competition, for backyard, for whatever. They're going to be bigger ribs. Again, I'm looking for thickness. Like, that's a huge thing for me. If I don't have a thick rack of ribs, I mean, man, it's going to be a lot easier to dry these out. And it's probably, maybe, not going to be as a successful recipe. And I think that it starts with the proteins. I really do. I mean, I even said it in the video. In order to make a good rack of ribs, you have to start with a good rack of ribs. And these H-E-B Naturals have been really, really good recently. We go through kind of phases. We've gone through Prairie Fresh. We've gone through Prairies. We've gone through IBPs. And now we're going through Naturals. And those are the three that we really have used a lot of. And, I mean, same thing. I'll go to Walmart. They have the Prairie Fresh. If they have some nice thick ones, man, I'm picking them up. I really also, I love IBPs. I feel like IBPs is usually where we hit pretty hard with ribs. But, man, the ribs that we've been making recently, they're damn good. I ain't got no complaints with those ribs at all whatsoever. And speaking of, well, we'll get to this in a little bit, but they announced a big-time competition today where we're going to need some killer ribs to go. But, just to keep talking about the recipe. So, started with a great rack of ribs, and then, of course, we used Malcolm's TX, which is his brisket rub, but it's got the salt, the pepper, the garlic, the onion, and it's thicker granules, which makes for a really nice bark, so that's why it's great for brisket. Man, we put a pretty decent layer of that, and then we threw Trifecta over top, and, man, the ribs looked so good. Seriously, go watch the video. The ribs looked so good. That combination is absolutely killer for ribs.
Yeah, I think especially for backyard cooks, they're really going for that salt pepper
for sure
thing, especially in Texas, right? I think pepper's big in Texas.
Yeah.
So I thought his TX rub, it goes on there really evenly. It comes out of the bottle nice and evenly. So I thought that was beautiful. Paired with the Trifecta on top for the color and extra flavor, I thought it just looked perfect. Yeah. I mean, and you can tell even just from the way you season pretty evenly. It makes a beautiful looking product in the end.
Yeah.
Right?
No doubt.
So we seasoned with TX Rub, Trifecta, and we cooked on the Weber Smoky Mountain.
Yeah. Which the Weber Smoky Mountain, I mean, I've told you guys this before. We won't go too much into it. Man, I just love that smoker. I mean, for $450, whatever it is, you can get a really awesome smoker. And like, when was the last time we cooked anything bad on the Weber Smoky Mountain? I don't even think we did the first time.
No.
It's just such a good and efficient smoker, and we've really found the way we like to cook with it. Right. So we love cooking with so the Weber Smoky Mountain does come with a really large water pan that actually stops any grease from dripping on the coals. It fully stops it, 100%. So what we did is we threw that thing away. I'm not telling you guys to, but I'm saying we threw it away, and we actually set up a water pan where half of it is basically like that Weber Smoky Mountain water pan where it protects that meat. The other half is exposed. So if you rotate your food, you're getting even cooking. You're getting a little direct, a little non-direct, a little direct, a little non-direct, and, man, it just makes for a good flavor.
And that's something we do in our competition if we're using drums.
Which we don't anymore, but, yes, right. You're 100% correct. That's how we did everything. We did our pork, we did our brisket, and we did our ribs that way. Our chicken, we don't. We just let it hit the coals. But, man, it's just an efficient way to cook. And, you have a little bit of moisture in that chamber, which is going to make for a really, really good environment to smoke in. And, man, dude, I'm telling you, like, simple. Throw briquettes in there, throw lump in there, throw 2 small pieces of wood on there, just chunks. And, dude, you're going to be smoking for 12 hours. It's so efficient. It's so easy. And then all you got to do is make sure it doesn't get too hot, and you're good. So in the beginning, we were like opening all of our vents on the bottom. Now we just open 1. Mm-hmm. So literally, we keep 2 completely closed, and we never open them. Like, they're shut right now.
Right.
And then we'll just open 1 either all the way or halfway. And that's it. And we get between 275 and 300 degrees every single time all day. And it's like super duper easy. Right. So the Weber Smoky Mountain is just super efficient. And it cooked really well that day, just like it always does. And, the ribs they colored up really quickly. And I talked about this in the video. One of the things that I really like to do recently is color up really quickly and wrap my ribs. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because I personally like, for ribs, I like a little bit of a softer texture on the bark now. Yeah. Now, I get it. I hear what you guys are saying if your rebuttal is like, no, I want a nice, good, like a good bark on a rib. I get it. I hear what you're saying. But I feel like when you nail the texture on a rib, it's really soft. And then, like that bark on top, if it's a little bit too hard or you let it go a little bit too long, and man, it can throw off the mouthfeel, in my opinion. I'm not saying if you guys want to go longer, that's fine. I like to color up really quickly, like within 45 minutes or an hour, I want to be wrapping. Mm-hmm. That's my goal. And basically, I'm steaming them in some really, really good flavor for the rest of the cook. And then one of the things that we do, and we talked about it a little bit more than we ever have before, is we cook with the bones in our au jus. I guess you can call it au jus. I mean, it's kind of making an au jus, but the bones in our liquid. Why do we do that? We talked about it, but like, why do we do that?
Right. And so what we did is after about an hour of getting color and then the 15 minutes of flipping, and we were also rotating every 15 minutes, 180 degrees. Yep. Right. So once we got the color we liked, we flipped them, got some color on that, or got a little bit of that char flavor on the top side as well. Yeah. We wrapped in foil, butter. So it's like 2/3 of a stick of butter for each rack. Mm-hmm. We did 2/3 of a cup of chicken broth, sugar in the raw, and a little bit of Killer Hogs vinegar sauce. Yeah. So yeah, all of that stuff there at the bottom, it's creating this au jus, and you have those bones in them, sitting in them, as opposed to having meat side down. Yeah. Which I think can also make your ribs look a little darker, but that's besides the point. Having those bones in that au jus, you're getting all that flavor from inside of those bones, much like you said in the video, like making a chicken broth or a chicken stock. Mm-hmm. You've got, for example, when you're making a chicken stock, you have the chicken, the bones,
the giblets, everything.
Right. You have everything in there, and you have like some aromatics. But you have those bones that are mainly what's helping to flavor that stock. There's a lot of good flavor in there. Yep. So same thing with our ribs. When we have those bones down in there, and you could even see them, like the bubbling around the ribs, the flavor from those bones are getting into that au jus. And we do that in competition as well. And the au jus is so important for us when it comes to competition cooking. Yeah. And the au jus is so flavorful, especially when you're taking something that, like any kind of drippings or anything that comes from whatever protein you're making, and you want to put that back on your food and utilize it. It has to taste good. So that's one thing, is we're always trying to create the most flavorful au jus that we can, because we know that that's going to go back on our food. It's going to give it moisture, and it's going to give it flavor. Yeah.
And another thing that I brought up in the video is that I feel like a lot of people get impatient.
Right.
So, for example, I'll be the first one to tell you that I also did it too, right? Oh, you wrapped your ribs, you wrapped this, you wrapped that. Man, who cares? Bump the temps up. You ain't got to worry about flavor no more. You do, though. If you have stuff in your wrap, you 100% need to worry about flavor. If you have barbecue sauce in there that has sugar, if you have sugar in the raw, if you have honey, if you have brown sugar, if you have anything, you can burn those things.
Right.
And then you're going to make that au jus taste really, really bitter and gross.
Yeah, and if you're doing meat side down in that, that's definitely not good. You don't want the meat to taste like that.
Well, then, like, your ribs can get really, really dark really, really quick if you start burning stuff, right?
Right.
Just like Sabrina said. But I do think that there's a true testament to just being patient.
Yeah.
Because, again, I've changed my philosophy a lot on cooking, and I do think, and I've said this before, I've even said it recently, I do think that competition cooking made me a better cook. Because I started to understand a little bit of, I don't want to say a little bit more about cooking, but just these little things like having a flavorful au jus is important. Okay. Well, why can't I do that at home too, in the backyard? Right. Even if you're using butter, brown sugar, and honey, you don't want to burn that. You can use that back on top of your ribs, or you can brush the inside of your ribs after you slice them. Man, there's just so many ways you can add flavor. I understand there's a lot of people that think salt, pepper, garlic, smoke, that's a perfect rib. I get it. And they're good. We like them too. But this way that you can cook your ribs and add these different flavors, almost be a little more exotic with it, it's like, it's art too, right? There's art in salt, pepper, garlic, and smoke and making that taste good. But there's also an art in understanding, like, I can't burn these ribs. I can't burn this au jus. I'm going to use this au jus as a tool later for more flavorful food. Let me really, really take my time here. Let me not bump up the temps at this point. Let me still rotate the rack every 15 minutes, even though everything is completely wrapped. I mean, these things to me are important. And I do truly believe that barbecue is just barbecue is just barbecue. Cook the meat, whatever. Make it tender, make it good. But there's definitely tips and tricks that can help you get there.
Yeah, especially if you're for backyard cooks. If you're making ribs, you're probably making them for a large group of people, right? So, and we all know this. If you go to a barbecue restaurant, they're slicing to order because they don't want that meat to get dried out, right? But if you're at the house and you're cooking for a bunch of people, you're just going to slice them up, probably put them in a pan so people can grab them, right? I think that au jus is a great way to keep already cut ribs to have more moisture. You know what I mean? So you just let those sit in the au jus, maybe keep it on keep warm or something so people can keep grabbing them. And those are going to have a lot more moisture than if you just slice them and let them sit there. Yeah. Now, a tip too, make sure if you feel like you're losing that moisture in your wrap, just add a little more chicken broth because that's what we used. I mean, you could do whatever liquids you want in yours. But for us, we use chicken broths. Another thing too is make sure your water pan isn't drying out. So we've had that problem in competition, right? Where our water pan, the water is evaporating, and we find that next moisture to go is from in our rib wrap, right? Yep. So that'll start evaporating,
or brisket wrap or whatever.
Right, that'll start evaporating much faster. So little tips: make sure you're checking your water pan, and also anytime you go to check your ribs, see what the moisture content in there is like, and if you need to add a little more, then just go for it.
Yeah, 100%. All great tips. And of course, at the end of the day, we ended up mixing that au jus. It did taste amazing. We mixed it with some Killer Hogs, the barbecue sauce, basted it over top, let it tack up a little bit, and man, I mean, the ribs were killer. Straight up, they were so good. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They were just incredible ribs. You guys need to check out that video and let us know what you think for sure. Try the recipe and let us know. I think the thing is, if you get lost in it, or if you kind of start overthinking it, it might seem like, man, that's way too much to make some good ribs. Man, it's really not. It's really not. It's so simple. I was talking to someone at work today, and they've actually watched us cook. They've watched us season. They've watched us go from, beginning to end. And he was like, dude, like, everything you do is just so simple. When we're breaking it down and we're trying to show you guys on YouTube or talk about it here, we're trying to be a little more specific. But, man, I mean, seriously, find a good set of rubs. It could be ours. It could not be. Let them color up really quickly. Put some good liquids, sauce, and just good stuff inside of those ribs. Try and preserve those. Try and preserve that. I'm sorry. Mix it with some sauce. Man, base it over your ribs, and they're going to taste fire. Yeah,
it took us less than 3 hours to cook the ribs, and then just an hour to rest.
The ribs were still over 209, 210, and you can see in the video, if you watch the video, they were not fall off the bone. They were still perfectly tender, clean bite. I was able to pull it off. Man, it was a perfect texture rib. So check out that video. Again, let us know what you guys think, and we could obviously probably talk about that video the whole episode, but we won't continue doing that. So we did make some other things recently as well. Any highlights for you on any of those things that we've made recently? So we've been finally doing shorts like we've been saying we were going to do for a year and a half. Yeah. We've been finally doing some shorts. So hopefully you guys are watching those and enjoying those shorts. And so we recently did some extra shorts, extra recipes. And what do you think of those recipes? Any that stuck out?
Oh, yeah. So that same night, actually, that we filmed the ribs, we did a short for a stuffed turkey breast, stuffed with boudin and cheese. Mm-hmm. Now, this was one of those things that, just pop in your head and you're like, oh, let's try this. And it's like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds like it'll work, right? Yeah. And it's one of those things in the process behind the scenes. It's like, maybe I don't know
if this won't work, yeah.
Right? Because you're trying to stuff with the cheese and it's like, well, we really wanted to get some good grill marks on it, but if we do that, we can't wrap it in butcher's twine. Yeah. So how are we going to pin this in place? Right. So we did a stuffed turkey breast. We used Malcolm's King, what is it?
Craw.
So we used Malcolm's King Craw. Mm-hmm. We stuffed it with boudin and pepper jack cheese?
Pepper jack cheese, yep.
Right. And so in order to secure that, we did have to pound it out.
Yeah.
So you do want to make sure if you got that big turkey breast, you really want to pound it out to try and make a better thing to wrap your fillings, right?
Yeah.
So we used some big skewers to seal that. And even though, as you said in the short, it kind of looked like Frankenstein's monster, right? It worked well. I would do it again. Yeah. I thought that was the easiest way to pin it.
So the thing with that short specifically, like Sabrina said, is it was literally something that just popped in my head, and I was like, hey, let's try this.
Right.
And we're like, okay, why not? Whatever. Like, sometimes that's just what happens. Something comes to our mind, something comes into my brain or Sabrina's, and then we're just like, yeah, let's make it. Okay. So we didn't really have a plan. We were just running with it. And so, I will openly admit that the grill marks didn't work out the way I wanted to. And obviously we secured that turkey breast a little bit weird, but man, it worked out. And that's kind of the beauty behind everything, right? It's like, man, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just like I was talking about the ribs a second ago, like, man, just cook them. Just make sure the au jus tastes good. Pick a good barbecue sauce, throw it over top. It's going to be fire. The same thing with this, man. Like, if you guys get a turkey breast, you fillet it, you pound it out, you stuff it with something delicious. Man, secure it however you want. Do grill marks, don't do grill marks, doesn't matter. Dude, I'm telling you right now, this turkey breast was on point, dude.
Well, and
point.
It made it worth it too when you went to do that cross section.
Oh, it was fire.
And you pulled it away and you see that all that filling stayed there. It just looked like a perfect slice. I was like, oh, this was worth it. This was worth all the struggle to put it together.
Yeah, and it really was a struggle. Like you guys, like Sabrina said, it's behind the scenes. You guys don't really see that. And there was at one point I was like, dude, this ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? But
the key was just pounding it out.
For sure, yeah. Like you got to flip and you got to go after that thing, bro. You got to get it. You got to get it nice and thin in order for that to just be able to wrap it up and be able to make sure that all of the contents that you're putting inside will actually stay there. But man, it turned out so good. So that was definitely also a highlight for me for sure. And man, that was one that I would love to feed a lot of people because I think that they would probably look at that and be like, I don't know about that. And then that's one of those things where you bite it. I don't see how you could not like that. Unless you just don't like turkey and boudin. Well, then obviously, I understand. But other than that, man, I just don't think that you couldn't like that.
Yeah, and so we cooked it pretty much the same, similar as we would do for the smoked turkey. We cooked it indirect after we got those grill marks. So if you didn't want to do the grill marks, just cook it indirect the whole time. Got it to 150 and then wrapped it in foil with butter and let it rest, and the carryover is going to help cook it the rest of the way. And also what are they, grill? I think they're called grill toppers. Grill toppers. Mm-hmm. They're bendable, and
we use that to secure it.
Yeah, that was really, really helpful too.
And that's I will also say this, right? I want to talk about this really, really briefly. There's been some people that even like in my personal life, like people at work, they're like, bro, really, like 150, 152? Like that's way, way, way too soon for turkey breast. I'm like, dude, residual heat is a thing. It is going to keep cooking no matter what. even if you don't wrap it in foil, it's going to keep cooking. So
Right.
what we're doing, I'm not exaggerating, within 1 minute, we are literally taking it off the pit, wrapping it in foil with butter, and putting it into an insulated warmer instantly. It has less than a minute to stop cooking. So we're putting it in that foil. It's still, there's so much heat in that thing.
Yeah.
And then we're putting it into an insulated warmer, being an oven that's insulated or a Cambro or a Yeti or something like that. Like,
And then we go to slice it. What, like how long did we let it rest?
like over an hour.
Yeah, and we go to slice it. It's still hot, and it's like, look at the footage.
Yeah,
nowhere
there's
in there
nothing
is
that's
there,
raw.
Right.
And it's like, dude, I'm telling you, I understand. I really do understand. But there's also such thing as pasteurization, right? So I don't know the exact numbers, but for example, this is like FDA stuff. Okay, so if poultry, even at 145, if it holds at 145 for X amount of time, it is pasteurized and it is safe to eat. At 150, at 155, there is a pasteurization time. As long as that poultry holds at a certain time, then it is safe to eat. At 165, all bacteria is killed. It needs no time to pasteurize at all. So that's a thing. Like, that's a real thing. It's not me making it up. That's like literally in the FDA books or something. Like, I read it online, and it was like on the health department pages and all that stuff. And it's like, I hate that I even went and looked at that. But it's like, I'm telling you guys, it's fine. It's gonna carry over. We should probably do a test where it's like, let's pull it at 150, put a probe in it, wrap it, throw it in the Cambro, and see what it carries up to. I guarantee you it is at least getting to like 162, 163 at the minimum.
Right. Yeah, and I know with stuffing it too, people are probably worried like, oh, maybe that it's not going to reach that. No, that just watch the video and you can tell there's nowhere in there. Yeah, there's no bloody turkey. There's no those juices are all coming out clear.
Yeah,
it's very obvious that it's already cooked. So it's one of those things. Just trust the process.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you don't know and you've never done that, you're never going to know. I mean, not very many people growing up were using internal probes and thermometers to check their stuff. They're just cooking it until you cut it open and make sure there's no blood in it, right?
Yeah.
But I think if you want to get optimal results with your proteins, I mean, just try things like this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. So other than that, we put out a short for ribs, which was basically just a short version of our long version. Things have been going good. Obviously, we missed the podcast last week, but we're back at it, and thanks for listening so far. One of the things that we wanted to move on to today, and I kind of briefly brought it up earlier, is they just announced something big today. $50,000 CBA World Championship barbecue competition in January in Seguin, Texas. Holy crap. 50 G's.
What was it last year?
30.
It was 30. Wow.
30 grand, 50 grand this year. I mean, dude, that's a lot of money. We do not chase money. We planned on going to this no matter what, because last year, even though we got our butts whooped, we had a really good time. We were able to go and hang out with friends, and then we got some burnt bean for dinner that night, which was delicious. And, man, I'll tell you what, that's a great cook-off. If you guys do cook-offs and you are interested in going, man, you need to show up to this. You need to show up to this thing for sure. I
love the ones where it's just there's a lot of cooks.
Oh yeah, and this one's a lot
going at it.
I mean, it's like 100 something teams. So it's gonna be Janky Leg was there last year. I hope Janky Leg comes this year, because I really want to. I want to meet him in person and tell him hi. I really like Janky. He's a cool dude. Text him every once in a while and just, hey, how's everything going? And man, just a super good dude, man. Janky's he's a badass cook. I mean, he went out there and got a first place pork last year.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, he came in and he showed out. So, man, hopefully Janky shows up again. Hopefully we get some other great cooks to come out, because 50 G's, it's a lot of money. People might want to come out for that. But, so that is actually probably, maybe, going to be our next comp. I mean,
possibly.
Because we got a lot coming up. And I hope it's not, because I'd like to do one practice before then, but it very well may be. So we'll see. We'll see how things shake out. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna throw it out there, and I'm gonna tease it real quick. where there's a change coming in 2025 for us. You know what it is. I'm not going to say what it is, but there is a change coming in 2025. So at January 1, 2025, there's going to be some stuff that changes for us. And it's really, really exciting. We're excited and we feel blessed. But, man, just be on the lookout for a little announcement coming from us January 1, 2025. We're hoping that this is the start of great things and we continue to grow. So I just wanted to throw that out there and tease that real quick. But one of the other things that I wanted to talk about today was two different but big things that also happened of two people that, man, I look up to. First things first, Chicken Fried Barbecue, Bill Purvis, who I can genuinely say is one of my really good friends now. Man, he landed Home Depot. He's gonna be in over 600 stores. And, dude, I couldn't be more happy for him, and I couldn't be more proud of him. And seriously, like, Bill is one of those people that, like, dude, he deserves this.
Yeah.
He's done so much for the sport. He is such a good ambassador to barbecue, welcoming of everybody. Man, he will not turn you away, dude. Like, he's just such a good dude. So I'm really, really happy to see that. And then the other thing is Aaron Leslie got into Lowe's, I believe over 500. Aaron Leslie owns Texas Oil Dust, over 500 locations.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is barbecue is not slowing down. It is only getting bigger, and there's only bigger and bigger and bigger things to come for barbecue.
Yeah.
And it's like the fact that Bill and Aaron are picking up combined almost 1,200 stores nationwide is big. That's huge. And like I said, they've been working on building a brand for a long time, and they absolutely both deserve it. I don't know Aaron very well. I've talked to him a few times. I hope to meet him and shake his hand one of these days, but I can tell you that I've known about Texas Oil Dust for a very long time. You know, I mean, it's a very established brand, and what he's done is incredible, and he's a great comp cook, and man, he's killed it out there. And the same thing for Bill. Like, you're going to sit here and tell me, like, Bill and Aaron don't deserve this? They absolutely do. And, man, I'm just excited to see where barbecue goes in general, because you're always going to have powerhouses. Powerhouses like Bill Purvis. Powerhouses like Aaron Leslie. Fred Robles. Fred also recently got into, I believe it was it Home Depot, Fred? Man, Fred did something big recently. Hold on. I'm opening Facebook. I got to figure this out right now because I got to give Fred his flowers too. All respect to Fred. Let's see here. Fred recently got into... Sorry, guys. Let's see here. Lowe's. So Fred recently got into Lowe's as well. And again, like, these are huge. These are huge things. Fred, Aaron, and Bill are just like paving the way for people like us that want to continue to do this and want to build this into a real business. And I mean, the possibilities are endless. And I think that it just shows that with hard work, dedication, like, we could be there too one day, right? I think we got a way to go, but I definitely think we can be there too. So congratulations, Fred, Bill, and Aaron. Super amazing. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, I wanted to bring it up just because, like, I genuinely am happy for them. I've always said this, right? There's enough room at the dinner table for everybody to eat, and that right there is proof. 3 huge names. They did huge things. Man, I mean, there's room for us too. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing, and that's it, right? But, man, I saw that, and I've been seeing it recently, and I'm like, dude, that's it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see where barbecue has gone in the past, 10 years. I mean,
it's almost mainstream now.
Yeah.
Right? It almost feels mainstream. Like, you know, you got and that's the thing, right? You have such great ambassadors for barbecue. You got, I mean, come on. You got Malcolm. You got Malcolm Reed, the absolute GOAT. I'll stand on 10 toes saying that all day, every day. Malcolm Reed's the GOAT of barbecue. And the reason I say that is because, like, dude, he changed the game.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. He changed the game. Malcolm was doing it when nobody was doing this.
Right.
Then you have the people that are also killing it. You got Meat Church. You got Chud. You got Mad Scientist Barbecue. You got Guga, who's kind of sort of ish barbecue. But, like, these people have paved the way for outdoor grilling and cooking content. And then you got the competition guys coming in, and you got us. We're little dogs. We'll admit it. All right, we're little dogs, but, man, we're trying. We're trying to continue to grow and continue to eat. And I think, like I said earlier, keep applying pressure. We're doing just fine. We're happy with where we're at, and we feel blessed. But, man, again, I do think it's really cool where barbecue is going, and I think it gives me a lot of hope because, you know, it's something that it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. It seems like it's picking up. And, again, that one right video or that one right person that we meet could just change everything for us. That's why we're not giving up. That's why we continue to push every single day. Like we were talking today, we almost didn't even do this podcast, but I'm like, no, we have to do it. Like, we got to figure something out. And, man, I feel like it's been a great episode. I feel like we've gotten a lot of good accomplished here. And, you know, we talk about it all the time. Just being here and being able to talk is amazing. A blessing. Sure. I mean, we're catching up, right? I mean, it's cool. It's a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just felt so, I don't want to say proud. Maybe the word's proud, but I just felt so proud of like where barbecue's going, seeing those things. Right. Because it's like, man, these guys are doing so many good things and there's so much more to do. And I'm happy to see it. And I'm happy for those guys, man. I mean, they've been working their tails off to grow that brand and to do these things. And, man, it's just incredible.
Well, even, I mean, and as you were scrolling through Fred's Instagram, you scrolled past a post that I remember I saw from him the other day. It was talking about CBA competitions. There's going to be some more out of state next year. I mean, they've got one all the way in Vermont.
Yeah, they got one in Vermont. But also the other thing, like even IBCA, like they're going to do one in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to do some out of state too. So like CBA, IBCA, like this is growing. This is a growing sport. This is only going to get bigger in my opinion. So it's like we got in at a good time. We're doing things the right way, and we just got to keep applying pressure. I guess that's going to be the theme of this one. Keep applying pressure no matter what. Don't let the foot off of the gas. Yeah, right? That's what we're doing.
It kind of feels like almost how competition gaming was. Like it was something that was almost unheard of, right? And then it really blew up. That's why I feel competition barbecue and barbecue in general is right now. It like you said, it's growing. I think there's more people who know about it. Yeah. There's more backyard cooks who know about it. Yeah. Even just in the past, as I said, like 10 years that we've been cooking, not necessarily for this, but like cooking together. Just to see how barbecue has grown, the things that I've learned and the people that are out there. I mean, it's incredible. It's just a huge community of people who like to barbecue, who like to compete. And so, I think it's really cool to see how that is growing on social media, to see how it's growing in competitions going out of state, which there's plenty out of state, but it's usually reserved to like KCBS or like there's certain competitions like on the East Coast or the West Coast or something, right? Yeah. So it's really cool to see CBA for Texas and IBCA for Texas growing past our state.
No, 100%. And like I said, I think it just a true testament to barbecue is only growing. Yeah. Barbecue's getting bigger. And I think more and more people are going to get into the sport. And I think that they're really going to enjoy it because it's a lot of fun. Yeah. It really is. But, one more time, Bill, Fred, Aaron, congratulations to you guys. Genuinely from the bottom of our hearts. Like, it is so encouraging to see these things. Yeah. So encouraging because I definitely think that we could be there too. Yeah, I genuinely do. And, again, thanks for y'all paving the way for sure because it gives us hope and it makes me want to work harder and harder and harder every single day. So, we're just over the moon about the news because this is good for everybody.
For sure.
And so, I mean, points chase is coming to an end soon. Right now, I think it's a really tight race at top 10. So we'll see who shakes it out and who gets that number one. Right now, Robert Smith, First Class Barbecue is number 1, and Phil Breeden, LC Barbecue is number 2. Chicken Fried Barbecue is number 3. I don't think that Bill can catch 1 or 2. I think the race is really going to be at top to see, but we'll find out soon. So, a lot of cool things coming up for us. And this weekend again on Saturday, actually, if you're listening to this Friday, tomorrow, we're going to be doing a turkey breast demo between 12 and 2. Could go a little bit longer, and we'll be open between 11 to 4. or something like that.
I believe so. Yeah.
Something like that. We'll be out here for a while. We'll be selling barbecue
11 to
seasonings.
3.
I think 4, but either way, we'll be selling barbecue seasonings. We'll be giving you guys free turkey breast samples and macaroni, maybe.
Possibly macaroni, possibly some desserts.
Yeah, we'll have stuff here for you guys to do and to hang out and get some turkey breasts, and then you can of course go back and watch the video and see how we did it if we get Trifecta in.
Yeah, and it's funny too because a couple weeks back after that video, people who were ordering. So I don't know if many of you know this, but you can, if you order online, you can leave a note, right? So we'll have people who leave just notes of gratitude or funny notes to you personally.
Yeah,
or,
a lot of people think that I'm the only one that reads those. Just,
yeah.
Just FYI, Sabrina reads them more than I do.
I get a good kick out of them.
Yeah.
But so I had a customer say, hey, I need this before Thanksgiving. Let me know if there's anything you can do, which obviously in Texas, most of the time, you're going to get it in
pretty
a couple
quick,
of days,
yeah.
right, at the most. So, there's people who are really, really looking forward to using this for their Thanksgiving, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, 100%.
This is kind of like a last chance to really get some Thanksgiving content from us because, yeah, we're definitely moving towards Christmas coming up.
Yeah. And so, man, I was going to say something right now, and I completely forgot what I was going to say. Dang it. What were we talking about? Well, I know we're talking about Trifecta and the notes and everything like that. Oh, yes, I was going to say this, and we're getting closer and closer to having our team wrapped up. We've been going through applications. There was a lot of them. And I will say this, I'm so thankful that there's that many people that are interested in being a part of what we're doing. Genuinely, it means more than you guys could imagine. This is very hard to do. Very hard.
Yeah.
Because genuinely, like every single one, Sabrina and I go through and we're like, oh my God, I want to pick them. It's like, but man, like this person has this, man, it is so hard.
We're having to be not necessarily critical, but we're having to be super selective because of the number of applications we got.
Almost 300.
Right. And just it is hard when you have it, but that is the cool thing about it is hearing how we've made an impact on
some
just
people.
Random people.
Yeah.
Is incredible.
Oh, dude, it means, oh my gosh. Like, dude, there was actually one that I told you, like, I literally almost started crying. Like, yeah. I literally, like, I had to put my phone down because I was reading these. And there was one, like, I almost literally put my phone down and started crying. Like, I wanted to start crying. I started talking to you, and, like, I don't know if you could tell, like, I was choking up.
Yeah.
I was literally choking up. I was like, dude, there's no way this person just said this. And I'll tell you what, dude, like, I went to their profile. I saw that they've been using our products for a really long time. Like, I believe every word they said. Every word they said. And it's like, it's incredible because I've said this before, man. Sabrina and I, dude, like, we're normal people, dude. Like, you know, we got our problems just like you guys. Maybe even more than you guys. You know, yeah. Don't think that we're not. Don't think that we're the perfect couple, man. Don't think that Sabrina and I don't argue. Don't think that we don't have our days where, you know, we disagree or anything like that. Like, it's just, that's not real, right? We obviously love each other, right? And we're in this together, but like, just know that Sabrina and I are normal people, but we are blessed to be building this platform that you guys can relate to us with. But having friends and family who are just like here to support you throughout this thing, it's so incredible. Like, yeah, that's why we're not going to give up. We got too many people that believe in us, and I believe in us. So, either way.
But yeah, so that's it. If you don't get picked, just know that we put so much thought into this.
And the thing is this, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm just going to say it flat out. I promise you, if we could, we would accept everybody.
Right.
This is a hard decision. So we're trying to narrow it down to like what 35 teams or something like that.
Yeah, we're trying to make it a little bit less than that because we already went in with this mindset that okay, this is the number that we're going to pick.
Yeah.
This is the number that we got.
Yeah.
This is what we've kind of gotten it down to, but
we still have to go through more applications.
Right. So we are having to be
very
super selective. So
we need to finish that too, by the way.
If you don't make the cut, please remember that you can still try for whenever our next round will be that we decide to ask for
ambassadors.
Yeah.
Family member. We call them family members because that's what we want to put out there. We're a family. We want you guys to join the family. We want you guys to feel like family. So that's why we call it family members. But man, if you guys don't get picked, like, just it
was a hard decision for
super
us
hard
to make.
Super hard, and we hope that you guys continue to support, and we love you guys for everything that you guys have given us. So we know that even if Trifecta was the greatest rub on planet Earth, it is nothing without you guys purchasing. It is nothing without you guys using it. It is nothing without you guys showing it to your friends and your family as well. So we do appreciate you guys, and we know that you guys literally help us build this into something bigger. Other than that, what do you got? You good?
Oh, that's it. I think that's it for today.
Yeah, I felt like it was a good episode, especially because we were thinking about not doing this.
Yeah.
But really happy with this episode. Felt really good to talk about some of these things. And, man, I'm excited for Saturday. Hope to see you guys here. If we don't, all good. We'll see you at the next one. But if you guys are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We just hit a little bit over 45,000 subscribers, and I want to keep pushing. Let's get to 50 Gs. But other than that, if you guys listen to us on any podcast platforms, let your friends know, let your family know. Maybe they like barbecue too. Maybe they'll like listening to me rant for just about an hour every Friday at 7:30 a.m. We appreciate you guys for watching and listening and all of the support. We love you guys very much. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.